Good evening and thanks for keeping a date with us on the program Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, a program that showcases the richness of Nigeria's agricultural sector and the efforts of government and other stakeholders to develop the sector for food security, job and wealth creation. I'm your regular guide, Gabriel Ojile. In tonight's episode of the program, we are showcasing the 6th Africa-wide Extension Week, which took place recently in Abuja. The impact of this conference and the direction that Africa should go in agricultural extension to ensure food security in Africa is a major focus of tonight's episode. But before then, we have news from the diary of the Federal Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. Keep watching.
Every part of Nigeria has something to offer.
Transforming agriculture in Nigeria starts off fully with news reports from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security as it pursues its mandate. Stay tuned for our top stories from the agricultural sector. In our lineup, Agric Ministry to build 50 housing units for staff, even as stakeholders call for renewed effort in livestock production amidst climate change.
In an effort to enhance the welfare of staff, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is building 50 housing units for staff of the ministry. The groundbreaking ceremony was performed at Piba District in Kabusa area of Abuja by the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Ernest Afolabi Umahihe. Speaking during the ceremony, the minister stated that the ministry recognizes the commitment and hard work of staff of the ministry and considers it important to embark on the housing project to improve their welfare.
With this housing project, we aim to create a conducive environment for our staff, promoting their well-being, job satisfaction, and ultimately enhancing their productivity. We are very aware of the challenges faced by our staff in securing suitable housing, considering the rising cost of real estate and the limited availability of affordable options. Hence, we took it upon ourselves to prioritize this initiative, pooling our resources, and partnering with reputable organizations to ensure the successful implementation of this much-needed project.
Speaking in an interview with journalists, the Managing Director and CEO of Green Peak Shelters Limited, Fane Lawrence, who is the developer of the project, stated that the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security housing estate comprises of 2-bedroom block of flats, 3-bedroom block of flats, 3-bedroom terrace duplex, 4-bedroom semi-detached duplex, 4-bedroom duplex standalone, and 5 bedrooms duplex standalone, a school, among other facilities.
So in the estate, we have provision for fire station. There's going to be a clinic, recreation center, a shopping mall to service those who live within the estate.
Members of staff were excited and appreciated the Permanent Secretary for the development.
So everybody, welcome and God bless.
The federal government on Monday, 20th November 2023, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with John Deere Company to assemble and sell tractors and other agricultural equipment to farmers across the country. Speaking during the signing of the MOU, Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, stated that Nigeria's agricultural sector has been under-mechanized and the MOU with the tractor manufacturing company would make tractors available and affordable to farmers. The minister added that the target is to mechanize at least 1.6 million hectares of farmland every year, and this would not only ease farming, but also create jobs and ensure food security in Nigeria.
India is also bringing capacity building because they have the experience apart from bringing in the equipment and the implements. They also want to train our artisans, our mechanics to maintain those equipments. Tractors without after-sales service is not a tractor. Usually a tractor lasts here in Nigeria without any adequate care lasts not more than 2-3 years, as we all know it. But I think they have a record of having tractors being sustained years on end.
Speaking earlier, the Vice President John Deere Limited, Jason Brinkley, stated that the company would focus on local assembly of tractors and repairs for farmers in Nigeria.
We focus on mechanization for yield improvement and for bringing more hectares into production for Nigeria to improve food security. We focus on access for finance to enable end-use contractors and SMEs to purchase these assets, to put them to productive use to serve their customers. We focus on the reliability and repair of this equipment to keep it operational. And we focus on the technology and training to support the entire ecosystem and ensure that we're
Amidst climate change, shrinking farmland and growing population, nations of the world are using scientific and nature-based solutions to increase agricultural production. These solutions and modern agricultural practices are rolled out by agricultural research institutes. However, there must be a link between the researchers and the farmers in order for them to come to fruition. This underscores the importance of agricultural extension and advisory services to farmers. In our next segment, we shall be focusing on the just concluded 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week, which took place in Abuja between 6th and 11th of November 2023. Keep watching.
Key players in the agricultural extension and advisory services across the Africa continent converged at the Ladi Kwali Hall of the Continental Hotel, Abuja, for the 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week 2023. The event was organized by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security Africa Forum for the Agricultural Advisory Services AFAS and the Nigerian Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services NIFAS in collaboration with other stakeholders. The event had in attendance representatives of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Minister of State for Agriculture, representatives of the 36 state governors, commissioners of agriculture, country representatives of Africa Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services from different African countries, chairman of AFAS, president of NIFAS, USAID, Feed the Future, Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, AGRA, Sasakawa Africa, African Union, CORAF, GIZ, among other stakeholders. Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week is a biennial event of the Africa Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, which brings together stakeholders from Africa and other continents to deliberate on strategic issues in agricultural extension and advisory services in Africa. The purpose is to facilitate the process for improving the use of knowledge, technologies and innovations by the agricultural value chain actors to achieve their individual and national goals on agriculture. The theme of the 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week is Harnessing Agricultural Extension and Advisory Services in Scaling Regenerative Agriculture and Nature-Based Solutions for Food System Transformation in Africa.
If you are not performing, you leave us.
Speaking during the conference, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was represented by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, welcomed the participants to Nigeria and appreciated the organizers. The minister also shared the experience and the direction of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in agricultural extension in Nigeria.
Agricultural extension, as we know it, plays a critical role in bringing relevant and improved technologies developed by our agricultural research system to the doorsteps of farmers. And to strengthen agricultural extension delivery services in Nigeria, our ministry has put together the first ever harmonized extension manual in Nigeria and a national agricultural extension policy. The manual focuses on how to effectively disseminate and deploy agricultural innovation technologies to end users using appropriate extension methods. The manual will be of great benefit to all extension players, administrators, farmers, supervisors, and the like. The National Agricultural Extension Policy seeks to provide a pragmatic, effective, and efficient, demand-driven, pluralistic, ICT-enabled, and market-oriented extension services to all stakeholders.
Speaking on the theme of the conference, the board chairman of Africa Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, Dr. Paul Fatch, stated that the key players of the nature-based solutions to agriculture are the farmers, and as such, researchers should develop technologies that are relevant to farmers by improving on what the farmers are doing instead of bringing in technologies that are totally alien to them.
We are leaving out a very important constituent in the whole agricultural value chain, which is the farmers themselves. We have not developed technologies that have answered the interests of the farming communities. And I'm happy that with regenerative agriculture, nature-based solution, actually we are coming back to the things that we used to do in the past. We are no longer going to be only catering for the international needs and those other needs of people who are supplying inputs and the like, some of which have caused a lot of cancer around. We are going back to our roots. And in this case, ladies and gentlemen, the key players are not the researchers. The key players are not the extension workers and the like. The key players are the farmers themselves. They are the ones that have preserved the nature-based solutions.
Also speaking during the occasion, the Executive Director, Africa Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, Dr. Selim Mohammed Nadi, stated that for Africa to move far in agriculture, the stakeholders must work together for a far-reaching result.
I'm just talking about working in partnership, whether from the US, from Japan, Africa, small farmer. There's another African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. Yeah. You'll reach where you want, but if you want to go very far, go together. And that's what you have made us all be here. And thank you very much for hosting us. And those are the African sayings which I just wanted to put in perspective. And the very fact that we are here, it means that we are committed to work together and in partnership.
The 36 state governors were represented at the event by the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Benue State, Professor Moses Obaji. He commended the organizers of the event and appreciated the governors for appointing people who are professionals in agriculture as commissioners of agriculture in their various states. He also assured the organizers that state governors would utilize the resolution of the meeting to enhance agricultural extension services.
We are here today for this conference. We will participate fully. I want to say that the findings of this conference will be very useful to those of us that will implement them at the state levels.
Also during the event, the President of Nigeria Forum for Agricultural Advisory Services, which is the Nigeria chapter of the AFAS, stated the vision and the mission of the organization in Nigeria, which is geared towards strengthening extension services using ICTs and knowledge-based extension system.
It's a transformed agriculture that ensures food security and makes Nigeria a leading player in global food market, provided by a dynamic, responsive, knowledge-based, and ICT-driven.
Development partners such as AGRA, Sasakawa Africa, FAO, USAID, and other stakeholders also gave their keynote address and goodwill messages.
To scale technology.
These key players in the agricultural sector shared their achievements, experiences, and recommendations for sustainable agriculture extension services and food security in the African continent.
When we heard that the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security was developing a new extension policy and training manual, we wanted to support this agenda because we know that private sector extension system is a key to complement the public sector work. USAID's Feed the Future Agriculture Extension activity facilitated consultations, provided financial and technical support, and mobilized experts across research institutes, universities, the private sector, and government to assist in development of policy and training manual that ensures integration of the private sector into an extension delivery model.
We have been using so many models and approaches to scale technology. We have National Center of Specialization, and Nigeria happens to be leading the Aquaculture Center. So these centers are where we have different commodities, different of the aspects that we do promote And we do a lot of exchange visits. We also do training of actors and beneficiaries in these centers.
Farmers have doubled their yield from extension services that meets them at the right point of need. We've also tried and worked extensively to bridge that gap in terms of the ratio between extension service providers to smallholder farmers. It used to be and always has been one extension service provider to more than 5,000 smallholder farmers. Today, in some areas where we work, we've seen one extension service provider working with less than 500 smallholder farmers, and we intend to do more and get that gap shortened a little bit more.
The role of the mass media such as radio, television and newspaper in the dissemination of agriculture technologies cannot be overemphasized. The President, Africa Agriculture Journalists Network, in an interview during the occasion, buttressed the need for stakeholders to work with journalists to break down the professional jargons associated with the research technologies to farmers.
That for Africa agriculture to happen and for extension to flourish, we cannot do without the media. The time is now to bring on board all agriculture media practitioners, sit with them, work with them, support them, build their capacity to be able to communicate the science and break down the jargons.
The 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week featured different panel discussions on various topics like strengthening agriculture and agricultural extension and advisory services, learning digital potential of agricultural extension and advisory services, the development agenda of African Agricultural Extension and Innovation Institution, value reposition in agri-food systems, among others. Some of the discussions focus on the need to harmonize resource mobilization by different organizations that play key roles in agricultural research and extension services. In an effort to equip farmers with the right knowledge of technologies, the President of Nigeria, during the 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week, launched the first National Agricultural Extension Policy, which spells out the role of different stakeholders and strategies to deliver modern extension services to farmers.
I foresee that many of the participants will go back home with the new ideas, having learned new innovations that are taking place across the continent, and they could be able to adapt those and do things differently.
In case you just tuned in, the program is Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, and we have been focusing on what transpired during the 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week and the impact of the event on agricultural development in Nigeria and African continent in general. Our next segment will focus on other key activities that took place during the conference, which include the launching of the National Agricultural Extension Policy, Extension Training Manual, exhibitions, agro-tourism and interviews with participants of the conference on their experiences and impact the conference would make in their various countries. You can't afford to miss the next segment. Keep watching.
Policy direction of government provides enabling environment and roadmap in the development of any sector. In an effort to equip farmers with the right knowledge of technologies, the President of Nigeria, during the 6th Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week, launched the first National Agricultural Extension Policy, which spells out the role of different stakeholders and strategies to deliver modern extension services to farmers.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to, on behalf of our President and Commander-in-Chief, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to launch these two documents, the National Agricultural Extension Policy and a harmonized extension manual for agricultural extension practitioners in Nigeria, titled Principles and Practices in Agricultural Extension and Advisory Services. We launched this for the benefit of humanity and to the glory of Almighty God.
The Executive Director, National Agricultural Extension Research Liaison Services, Professor Emmanuel Ikani, in an interview with our correspondent, sheds more light on the importance of the National Agricultural Extension Policy and the imperative of implementing the policy.
It's not good to usual, business as usual. Everybody will be engaged. If you go to the document, all the roles that the state government needs to play, the part of the local government and the private sectors is included. We do not believe in that document that government should continue to fund extension to public funds. We want other engagements, state, local government, and development partners, NGOs to come into it. Even faith-based organizations who are interested in agri-extension are included. And let me say this, that not until we fix agriculture, whatever thing we are fixing remain unfixed, because matters of agriculture are matters of life.
The Agricultural Extension Week also featured exhibitions of agricultural products, research breakthroughs, and access to tractors, among other things. While the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is making an effort to enhance agricultural mechanization, state governments are also involved in subsidizing tractors for farmers.
Agricultural industry.
A company that is into importation of tractors shares with us the collaboration between the government and the company for farmers to access tractors for mechanized agriculture.
I have to give kudos to the present government in terms of the availability of funds for the procurement of, especially in the agricultural industry. The farmers now have opportunity to access those funds through their cooperative societies, through the Ministry of Agriculture, through some NGO also, and most of the state governments have already made provision as subsidy in their budget for agricultural, for procurement of agricultural tractors. So we have an opportunity of giving them those tractors through the ministry, through the state government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, through the federal government. It goes well.
Seed companies also showcase their efforts in production of agricultural seeds and disclose the advantage of improved seeds over the unimproved ones.
This potato that we are seeing, it produces 15 to 18 tubers per stand. That's mini tubers. That's a small size for you to multiply. But the existing potato, highest, it gives you 5 to 6 tubers.
Partnership between stakeholders, both in government and the private sector, must be strengthened if indeed Africa is to take its pride of place in agriculture globally. And a first step in that direction is ensuring that technologies from research institutes, as well as sustainable agricultural practices, reach the farmers who need it through extension services. And that is what the Africa-wide Agricultural Extension Week is all about. This is where we draw the curtains tonight on the program. Join us again, same time, same station next week for another interesting package. I am Gabriel Ojile. Have a good night.